All right, everybody. I've been meaning to do this vlog thing for a while, since I haven't really been up to anything new except busy with school and work. But just want to do some new car thoughts, along with some conversations, and basically what's new with me. I went home last week actually, for spring break, and I saw all the cars I haven't been home in like a month. Started with my car, just hit 63,500 miles. I think it was at like 61 or 2 last time I did a vlog. The X5 is at 12,000 miles now, so we're doing a 12,000 mile lease on that car. So in August of this year is when it's supposed to be at 12,000 miles. So needless to say, we're slightly over on the mileage for that. The 550's got 49,500, so almost 50K. We got that with 46,000 miles, so my mom's been driving that a lot. Still a pretty fun car. I'm gonna get the transmission fluid flushed in it, because it seems to shift a little hard from 1 to 2, and I don't think the fluid's ever been flushed, so we're gonna get that done, see if it shifts a little smoother, a little more responsive. But other than that, not a whole lot. I've been trying to convince my dad that we should split a convertible since I can't afford it fully. But he just bought an airplane, so that probably won't happen. I'll probably have to wait. All my friends keep getting new cars, so I'm like, I get that itch, but we're going to wait another year with the G before we go and change things. Let's talk a little bit about new cars. The Mercedes CLA 250, if you've seen that, or the 45 AMG. It's going to start under 30 grand. It'll probably add 30 grand in options, but under 30 grand starting price, that works. So that's the car to keep an eye out. Comes in front wheel and all-wheel drive. A little 2.5 liter engine out of the C250. Probably be a pretty fun little car to drive. I'm pretty excited. I'm going to drive one when they come out. It's a contender for G replacement if I like the car enough. The new Jeep Cherokee. I don't know what Jeep was thinking with that design, but let's hope it works for them. This is the replacement for the Liberty. They're bringing back the Cherokee name. It actually, they sell them in Europe as the Cherokee at the Liberty. So Liberty's going away. Thank God. That car was pretty tragic, but yeah, the new Cherokee, we'll see how that does. It doesn't look like the new Grand Cherokee, which looks pretty good. The Cherokee's a little, got like 3 sets of eyeballs. I don't really know. And good news, the Dacia Sandero still won't be sold in the U.S. Moving on. Diesel technology, the emissions apparently have changed, the standards, so more and more diesels are getting brought into the U.S. The new Mazda 6 is going to have a diesel engine. Jeep just brought out the Grand Cherokee. That's going to get 26, 27 miles a gallon on the highway. Pretty comparable specs to the X5. And Audi is apparently bringing out a whole host of diesel cars, including the A8, A6, A4. Because currently it's only the Q7 and the A3. So the smallest and the biggest. But now they're going to have a bunch of mid-range. I really think pickups should have diesel engines. I think a half-ton pickup, like a 3-liter, 3.5 liter turbo diesel, similar specs, like 260 horsepower, 400 some foot-pounds of torque, similar to our X5 engine in a pickup. That would be a hot-selling machine, especially if they can push out almost 30 miles to the gallon on the highway. I think that domestic manufacturers should really do that because it would sell. People want a half-ton diesel. Supposedly Dodge is doing it, but I think it would mainly benefit GM and Ford if they were to put diesels in their pickups, because Dodge coil spring half-ton trucks that look like they've got way too much testosterone. I'm good there. Anyways, Mitsubishi Anybody heard anything? They got a new Outlander out. Do people buy Mitsubishis? Does anybody even know? Because every time I see somebody driving a Mitsubishi, I'm like, why did you buy that car? The only thing they make is the Evo that like anybody actually knows about. You know, I mean, they had the Endeavor. God knows how long that was going, but I don't know. Supposedly they're okay cars. I don't know. I don't really see the point in getting a Mitsubishi unless you really want to be different. Suzuki's dead now. It's probably a good decision. The only thing they made that was worth the damn was the Equator, but that's just because you get a Nissan Frontier with a 100,000 mile warranty. I'd just take the Suzuki badges out, put Nissan ones on, but so that'll be the end of Suzuki, at least in the North American market. They still sell elsewhere, but again, I drove one of those Kazashi cars. I think it was like 30 grand, and it just buzzed and vibrated. I wasn't that impressed with it. It looked good, sorta, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Well, I guess we won't see because they're going away, but, you know, rest in peace, Suzuki. You know, bring out your dead. Cadillac. Another hot thing. Everybody. God, I get in this debate with really car snobby people that are like, oh, Cadillac, you know, it's old person car. They need to stick to making boats. And it's like, okay, well, boats don't sell. A sporty sedan, luxury that blends into that sports sedan market with BMW, Mercedes, Infiniti, Acura, Audi. That is what Cadillac needed to become. In fact, that's what Lincoln needs to become. Lincoln needs to do something that's a little different. Okay, the whole rebadged Ford thing. Cadillac jumped off that bandwagon with rebadged Chevys, so Lincoln needs to do something a little different to stay afloat, which is weird because Ford is doing a lot better than Chevrolet, but Cadillac's doing a hell of a lot better than Lincoln. So, you know, we'll see. Maybe Lincoln will turn a corner. I would love to see some sports sedan Lincolns. That would be awesome. Rear-wheel drive, fun to drive, good connection. That's what Lincoln needs. Cadillac, they're unveiling the new CTS next week in New York. Sofian's going to be there. He's going to keep me updated because I really want to see the new CTS. I think it's going to be sexy because I love the XTS and the ATS. I love the way the ATS drives. It's so fun to drive. I just love that car. And they're introducing a new 3.6-liter twin-turbo engine, 420 horsepower, 430 foot-pounds of torque. That is going to be a hell of an engine. That's going to put the 400-horse V8 550 to shame. So I'm curious to see that engine, especially if they stick in the ATS, make the ATS V. That thing's going to haul. I think that's what it's going to do. They also need to put this engine in the Silverado because that would make a lot of sense. Because, you know, detune it a little bit, less high performance, a little more maybe like truck use. But that could make a big splash. Since look at how well the EcoBoost F-150s are selling. I would much rather have an EcoBoost F-150 than a V8. Anything else, basically. That engine just makes way more sense. It's much better gas mileage, much better power, good torque. But they need to do the diesels, man. I'll tell you, the diesels, that's where it's at. All right. This was something that a few people wanted me to talk about. GM trucks switching gears from Ford. A lot of people, well, I don't know. It's mainly just the like car snobby YouTube people, but just rap on GM trucks because they think they're just big POSs. And it's like, okay. Ford makes, I think, probably the nicest pickup overall. They aren't free of their share of issues, but they are definitely probably the best fit and finish wise. Maybe Dodge is up there second, but I mean Dodge can't make a powertrain to save their ass, so they're all right, but nothing like Ford or Chevy. But that's the thing. It's like GM. It's old school, but it works kind of thing. Like everybody's like, well, they don't have independent rear suspension in the Suburbans, and it's like, okay, well, there's also a really low failure rate on that solid rear axle. And for the most part, the people that buy Suburbans, which let me remind you, outsells the Expedition a lot. Even in this old-ass design, it still outsells it a lot. It's a proven design. The engines are phenomenal. They're pretty efficient for what they are, and they're reliable. I mean, those trucks, I mean, I wouldn't hesitate to buy a 130,000 mile Suburban. Whether an EcoBoost will run that long, time will tell. But a 5.3 liter Vortec V8, man, that thing's going to go a long time. Yes, I will admit the interiors are a little subpar, and by little I mean a lot. We had a Silverado LTZ 6 liter, little chrome on the door handle was chipping away, but we didn't have the dash cracking issues. I think that's a southern thing, because I've never seen it up north, well, except for my friend's mom's Yukon. But that truck came from Texas, so it's like, I think that's a heat thing. But it's cheap plastic, I'll admit that. They could do worse. Well, they could do a lot better, actually, but no, it's like those trucks, they're reliable. I mean, you can knock the fit and finish all you want, but at the end of the day, it's a frickin' truck. And the seats are comfortable, they last. I mean, the leather cracks, but for the most part, the things that matter, mechanical-wise, which most truck buyers look for, they don't give a shit if the interior's hard plastics. Looking for it, it's hard plastic too inside. Granted, it's a little thicker and a little better quality, but I mean, most truck buyers, you talk to them, they just don't give a shit. That's the thing. And that's basically all I have to say on that. Because come to North Dakota, where trucks is basically everything on the road. I tell people I drive an Infiniti, they don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. They're like, what the hell is that? Is that one of them their foreign brands kind of thing? You know, they just don't care. And I think that's what most of the truck manufacturers are coming to. I still think Chevrolet should offer floor shifters in the new Silverado, but apparently the buyers want column. I don't really care for a column shifter. It's not my bag, but I buy trucks that most truck buyers would make fun of. You know, Platinum F-150s, LTZs, Silverados, Denali, Sierras. I like the big, cushy, fancy pickups, so those are prissy pickups according to most pickup buyers around here. They're like, give me the LS or the XL. Meh. I'm like, meh. I want my heated and cooled seats, navigation, sunroof. I want to be big pimping around my pickup. Another thing people wanted me to chime in on is my CVT transmissions versus an automatic traditional style. I don't really get why CVTs get such a bad rap, because if you look at a majority of the vehicles that they go into, they aren't designed to be performance enthusiast vehicles. A Nissan Altima is a family sedan. A Honda Accord is a family sedan. A Pathfinder is a family SUV. It's not the type of vehicle you go banging through gears in. And I'm sorry, you don't buy a family sedan to be an enthusiast car. It's a car for people to just drive, that just want a point A to point B car. I mean, I don't care if the Fusion or the Passat or whatever drive a little bit better than the Accord or whatever. I think the Accord's a really good driving car. It's a family sedan, and most of the buyers are middle-aged women and men with kids, or, you know, families that just cruise around town. And honestly, the only time you notice the difference between a CVT and a regular transmission is if you have your foot planted to the floor. And it's like, okay, yeah, everybody looks at the 0 to 60 videos of an Altima or an Accord, and it's like, okay, well, how often are you really driving around with your foot planted to the floor? And it's like, it just works in those types of vehicles. They're smoother. They don't shift shock. I mean, come live in a place like I live, where it's like you wake up in the morning, it's -20 outside. You will hate a regular automatic transmission, or even a manual for that matter. In an automatic, when you shift gears, the things are like boom when they shift, because all the fluid's cold, and it's rough. Or in a manual, you go shifting through gears and it's like, okay, we're in quicksand going into second. It's like a CVT, I've driven the Altima up here. I've started up when it's -30 out, and it's still smooth. Like, you drive around town, especially in the city, if you're a city person, CVTs are just smooth. It's like electric feeling. It's not an enthusiast car. It's a family sedan, and I think a lot of people forget that. Another thing about them, they're way, I think personally that they're way more responsive. In a car like that, I've driven 5AT Accords. They take a little bit longer to downshift. You plant your foot in a CVT, the thing's always got a downshift. It always pushes you into the power band. It's quick. I like that. You put your foot down, it goes. I think they're more responsive. I think in those kinds of applications, they just work a little bit better. Autos, they hunt gears a little bit more. I will admit, in a car like the Nissan Maxima, which is supposed to be a sporty car, CVT is kind of dumb. I kind of wish they would have put a regular automatic in the Pathfinder, but it's a family SUV. Who's going to be racing the thing around town anyways? And they just wouldn't get as good a gas mileage, I don't think, without it. They would really have to gear it so it just drops to the lowest gear immediately to get the kind of gas mileage, or the lowest revs immediately to get the kind of gas mileage that you get in a CVT, because it's got those ratios. But off my CVT soapbox, anything you feel like debating, post in little comments down there. But other things, that's all I have really for news and stuff. I'm going to try to do more of these. I am going to be buying a new camera. I'm going to get a Sony, I think it's like a handy cam or something, but I'm going to get one of those, and I'm going to start doing a different style auto review. Just going to change things up a little bit. I'm kind of tired of the iPhone, you know, kind of dumb. So look forward to that. I'm hoping pretty soon here that the snow will melt and it'll quit being 10 degrees out and I can put my 18s back on the G. I'm hoping that makes me want to like not sell it so bad. I need to get the 17-inch winter wheels off so that I can enjoy driving a little bit more. So until next time, feel free to comment, subscribe, whatever. I'm always around to answer questions. So we will talk to you guys next time.